voted one of the top 25 distilleries in America by Travel and Leisure magazine and top 10 whiskey bars in America by Yelp, Motor City Gas produces small batch spirits with big time passion right on 4th Street in downtown Royal Oak.
With classics like the Old Fashioned and seasonal drinks such as the applesauce, it's no secret that this is one of our favorite places to meet friends for a drink.
With that in mind, we stopped in to chat with owner Rich Lockwood to find out more about how Motor City Gas reached such critical acclaim in a span of only 4 years. So Rich, tell us a little bit about Motor City Gas and what made you get into distilling.
So Motor City Gas is a small batch whiskey distillery that my wife and I started about 4 years ago. We opened in March of 2015.
Okay.
We were in here about a year before that, getting the whiskey started. We focus exclusively on things that are in the whiskey family, but we get into lots and lots of different variety within the whiskey family. So we've produced over 50 different styles since we opened 4 years ago. My background, I was a home brewer. I don't have a lot of commercial experience, and whiskey just became a passion of mine. And back during the recession here in Metro Detroit, I lost my job, and that's when my wife and I decided to start Motor City Gas. We kind of dove in head first and just kind of figured things out as we went, and relied on our homebrewing skills to kind of get us through.
We know you're a small batch distillery. For people who might not know much about distilling whiskey, can you tell us a little bit about what that means?
Sure. I mean, small batch is a little bit of a relative term. I mean, a lot of the big distilleries are doing small batches, but here at Motor City Gas, I almost consider us a nano distillery, a super small batch distillery, where some craft distilleries you'll see are pretty sophisticated operations that are capable of producing several hundreds or several thousands of barrels a year. We're literally only producing a single barrel of whiskey at a time. And some of our batches are even smaller than a 53-gallon barrel of whiskey. So we really pay a lot of attention to the handcrafted quality at every step of the process.
And it probably makes people feel like they're getting something very unique when they come here, because they can't go to Kroger or whatever and just pick up a bottle that everyone else has on their shelf.
Absolutely, yeah. We don't plan on being in Walmart anytime soon. We love being able to introduce people to new and different style whiskeys almost every time they come in. So it's a lot of fun for people when they stop back, and we've got 3 or 4 new things that they haven't tried before.
So tell us a little bit about where you source your grains and what that process looks like.
We love supporting the Michigan local agriculture. We do have several local farmers that we source most of our grains from, and what we've even started doing is having them grow some custom crops for us.
Oh, nice.
So this year's bourbon, we had some white corn grown for us, and we love that because we can get a little bit of influence on how they're farming that, not using pesticides and stuff that we're not comfortable with. And then it also allows us to get our hands on that grain as quickly as possible after harvest and cook it when it's as fresh as possible. So we love those intimate relationships. We also get into a lot of collaborations with other local businesses. River Rouge, which is a brewery across the street, we do lots of barrel sharing with them. We've done collaborations with Roke Brewery, Axel Brewing in Ferndale. We've actually brought some of their beer in here and distilled it into a whiskey. So we love to play with everybody, and it keeps things fresh and interesting, that's for sure.
So tell us a little bit more about the actual process of distilling whiskey.
The process of making whiskey is fairly simple. The process of making good whiskey can be very difficult. We get fresh grains in, normally locally grown. We'll get those in 50-pound bags or sometimes 2,000-pound super sacks. And the first step is we crush or mill those grains. So after the grains are crushed, we cook those with water, and we produce a sugar water, which is going to be the environment and the food for the yeast. We pitch the yeast into that sugar water, and over the course of a week to a couple weeks, the yeast are going to consume all of those sugars and basically produce a dry, sour beer, a 5 to 10% alcohol beer, which is called a distiller's beer. We then take that fermented mash, we put it into our still, we heat it up, and we're essentially vaporizing the alcohol off of that mash and then recondensing it into a liquid. So we're concentrating a beer. and that's when it becomes a whiskey.
Wow, okay.
Now it's going to be a clear whiskey, like vodka, and what's going to give it the color is then when we barrel age it. So the barrels that we use are toasted and usually charred on the inside, and that's what's going to bring the sugars out of the wood and produce the color and most of the flavor in the whiskey.
Interesting.
So the whiskey will spend anywhere from a couple of years to many, many years in the barrel as it matures. And at each stage of that process, we're not using computers. It's natural senses of smell and taste to decide when it's ready to move to the next step and then when it's ultimately ready to be bottled for consumers.
Very cool.
After our crash course in whiskey distilling, it was obvious there was a lot left to learn.
Rich decided the best way to further our education was to sample a few of their 30-plus medal-winning whiskeys.
All right, the first whiskey I'm going to have you try is Royal Oak Rye. This is the very first whiskey that we sold here out of Motor City Gas.
Awesome.
This is a rye whiskey, which in the States here has to be made from at least 51% rye. It's aged in a new charred oak barrel, and you'll probably pick up, rye tends to be a little bit drier with some spicy notes. You might get a little pepper, a little caramel.
Yeah, I can taste the pepper and stuff. And you said that's the first one. So before you opened, when you were in the building for a year, that's what you were making.
Correct. We were starting on that one. We were also working on some moonshines, but this was our first aged spirit that we really.
Excellent. Yeah.
Fantastic.
No, that's good.
Yeah, I get the spiciness for sure.
Now, bourbon's going to be a little bit different direction. Bourbon's made with at least 51% corn. This is our belly up bourbon, our flagship bourbon. What you're going to notice from the corn is a little sweeter. You'll probably pick up some vanilla, possibly some chocolate notes there.
You can smell them for sure, like that sweetness.
It's a pretty traditional style bourbon. We do put our own twist on it by finishing it just for a short period of time in a rum barrel. You might pick up some of the fruity esters from the rum, but we don't leave it in that rum barrel long enough where it loses its bourbon character and starts to taste like a rum.
Yeah,
I feel like that one's up your alley.
that is up my alley. The sweetness as opposed to the spicy.
The third one that I'm going to have you try is our Scotch style whiskey, which is called Loch Ness. This is classified as a single malt, which means that 100% of the grain in this bottle are malted, and it's made by only one distillery versus a blend from different distilleries. The malt that is in here is imported from Scotland, and their process for drying that malt out after they've wet it is to use a smoke from a fire that's sourced using local peat. So you're going to get a lot of earthy notes there, tobacco leaf, very smoky both on the nose as well as the palate.
For sure. Yeah.
So pretty distinct with any Scotch or Scottish style.
Correct. There are some single malts out there that are not peated, which means they're not going to be smoky. But a lot of the scotches that you're going to try are going to be heavy peated like that. You'll come across a few that are just lightly peated, meaning the smoke is.
That's good. What did you think of that one?
Yeah, it's like being at the campfire.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, we'd like to thank Rich for having us out to Motor City Gas. If you are in the mood for some great whiskey or incredible craft cocktails, be sure to come down here and check them out. Or you can follow them on Instagram or Facebook at Motor City Gas Whiskey.
Until next time, community, keep it real.
Hey you, and we're talking to you, person who made it to the end of our video. Thank you so much, it means the world to us.
It really does. And if you're looking to buy a home, check out realcommunityhometeam.com, where you can search homes in this area or anywhere in Michigan.
And if you're looking to sell, be sure to check out our Real Results marketing plan, which can maximize your return by weaving your home story into our community show narrative.
Also, do us a favor and click those like, share, and subscribe buttons.